Have you ever felt like you don't know how to tell a person
No.
or you feel so guilty when you tell someone
No.
A lot of us, we actually have problems with saying no because the environment that we are brought up in is just you are guilt-tripped when you say no. This is just the society that we have become. How is everyone doing today? My name is Bao. My handle is Bao the Pigeon. Today we're going to talk about boundary setting, and this is something that I have struggled with
For the longest time
in my
29 years of living.
That is for me. Actually, I don't know how to set boundaries, and only recently I started to think about what we should be doing as humans to stop people from always stepping over us. So without further ado, let's get right into it. What are the 7 signs that show that you need to set boundaries?
No.
If you constantly find yourself always very overwhelmed or drained after spending time with a particular
Person.
that is when you know there is something wrong. Maybe either stop spending time with that person, which also is kind of setting a boundary, or you have to let that person know a certain thing that he or she is doing with you is actually making you feel not great. We have to really be clear, maybe reflect on it, and then let yourself think through what is it that is making you feel that particular way. So if, say for example, not that it happened to me. For example, your friend or your family always rants to you about their problem, but they actually don't give you space to talk about your own problems, or it's always negative things or something like that. And you just feel like anger or resentment is building up. So a very clear sign that your boundary is being
Violated.
right is when you constantly feel resentment towards your friends, your family, or whoever it is. Sometimes we actually don't even realize. I actually had a friend who was a really good friend of mine for a very long time, but last year I actually stopped going out with her altogether because of how she's always like making digs at my personality and like my intelligence, which I really feel is very disrespectful, especially after the way that I really do my best to be a good friend to her as much as I can. I did try to set a boundary. I did try to tell her that actually you hurt me when you blah 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 blah, and she did actually say
Sorry.
but after that I just didn't hang out with her anymore because I was so terrible at setting boundaries that I leave it till all the way at the very end before I decide to set any kind of boundary, and by then for the friendship to work. So I don't want that to be you. I just really hope that you can first talk about it, and if they still continue to not respect you or your boundary, right, then you have to cut them off. Unless they are family is a little bit more tricky. So the third is you feel guilty for saying no. Saying no is a kind of boundary. It's the most basic kind. You shouldn't be feeling guilty when you are prioritizing yourself and then saying no to a particular event because you are unable to do it. That's when you know you should be doing it. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. So actually, a lot of people think that I'm just a very spontaneous person. Like if they ask me to go to have supper with them at like 12 a.m, I will definitely go. But it's not because I'm spontaneous, it's because I have problems
With saying no.
actually, am I spontaneous or am I just terrible at setting boundaries? For the friend that I was saying earlier, an example that I can think of is that there's one time when I had volunteering the next day, starts at 8 a.m. And then she still wants to go out and drink. Basically, I went with her. It ended up like I only went home at like 2 plus. I feel like if I had really listened to myself and prioritized my own needs over hers, then I should have said no, but I didn't, which also caused the anger and resentment to build up even more. So yeah, if you feel guilty for saying no, remember to start doing it more. So number 4, when you constantly ignore your own needs, you constantly feel very tired, you constantly feel very burned out, and you don't know where all your energy is going to. Definitely, you have to set some kind of boundaries for yourself, okay? There's this whole period of time when I was just super tired and I don't know where all my energy is going to, but I was just like mentally super drained, and that was when I started to say no to activities, even though every one of them I feel guilty, right? But now I'm a stronger person. Only gradually then I start to feel like myself. If you have already prioritized your own needs and then you go and care about other people, like whether it's your partner, I mean, and your partner is most important, I can agree also, but at the same time you have to take care of yourself first before you can actually give anything away. And I realized that it's so true. Really take a step back and maybe have a day to really reflect on what you want in your life and also why you are feeling this way all the time. So the 5th thing is that you have difficulty communicating openly, and this is a very big problem for me, okay? So last time when I watched like American sitcoms like Friends, like Big Bang Theory, and I always get very impressed that they can openly express their feelings, like how they feel when they're hurt. It hurts me when you do this, blah blah. Because white people somehow, I think in shows they're just more open about their feelings, which is like
a mind-blowing thing for me, okay?
I'm brought up in a family where like we don't really openly express our hurts, our disappointment, our resentment, our embarrassment. If you have difficulty communicating your needs openly because you're so embarrassed of them. I don't know why we have to be embarrassed about our own needs, but sometimes
We just are.
communication is kind of muscle, you have to practice it. At the start of everything, it is always rough, but the more you practice it, it will become a stronger muscle, and then your future self will thank your current self for it. Once you have difficulty talking about your own feelings, that is when you neglect yourself, like previous point, you neglect your own self-care, your own hobbies and whatever, okay? When you learn to communicate openly first about what you need, then you can actually set the boundaries with other people, with your friends, with your family. Some lines that they cannot cross. When you find yourself having difficulty discussing sensitive issues with people who are supposedly close with you, that's when you know you have a problem, okay? Number 6 is when you actually feel like you're being gaslighted or manipulated. So if this person, or like maybe this parent, this partner, or whoever, this friend is not in your life, right? Would you live it totally differently? If you will live it like completely differently, that means you know that you are actually just following whatever the person wants you to do. You are being manipulated into doing something that you don't really want to do, or like you may not actually choose it as your number one choice. Whether or not you end up being better for it, usually you are not better for it, okay? Say if like a parent wants to manipulate you into doing something, guilt trips you into doing something for them, you really have to set a boundary. You are your own person, you have your own life, and you don't live for them, and that they can't control you. Your ideal life and your current life will be so different if this person is not there. Then really just take a step back and reflect on your relationship with this person and what kind of boundaries you need to set. Definitely visualize the kind of relationship that you want to have with people around you, okay? People that you love, how you want them to be treating you, what kind of expectations should you be setting for them. If they don't reach this, then that's when you have to have the talk where you set a boundary with them and then let them know that, hey, this is not acceptable, and if you continue with this, we actually can't be friends anymore. Watch my next video on how to set boundaries with people that you love and you care about. So the last and the most obvious one is that if you are experiencing any kind of physical or emotional harm, please cut the person off because that person is toxic, or call the police. I don't understand this because like I've never experienced it myself, but I've read about like so many cases where people are being abused and they actually don't dare to speak up. If you are always physically or emotionally abused, right, please try to seek help as much as possible. With physical harm, there is no point in setting boundaries. Say,
Hey, you can't beat me.
doesn't make sense. That is a very strong boundary that you have to set for yourself, and be strong because you are your own person and you have your own life ahead of you. Please don't be afraid of making a move, making an action against them. My friend's company, there's a guy who was constantly harassing girls, and none of them actually dares to report it to like HR or like their own managers. And firstly, of course, the man is at fault. But if you let this guy be doing whatever he wants and he can get away with it, right, he's gonna continue doing that to other people. So please, I mean, not just for your own sake, but also like for other people, please step up. I'm so sorry this video is kind of like heavy. Thank you so much for watching. So if you like this video, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video where we will dive deeper into how exactly to set boundaries with your loved ones. Bye! I don't know what she wants. Yes, Poppy, what do you want? Yes, you want to go inside?